Hello there, everyone, and yes, this is WhatCulture Football. We're back for a brand new season. Such has been the success of this format on other channels. It makes no sense in the world not to do football news for you all the goddamn time. So you're going to be getting that as the season rolls on, plus lists, commentaries, insights, all the usual stuff. Yes, baby, we are back, starting today, and coming up for you, we've got
the latest on Paul Pogba at Man United.
A Premier League side breaks their record transfer for the second time in a week.
And Marco Arnautovic has finally found his way out of West Ham.
This is the football news.
Yeah,
we're going to need to work on that.
We need to come up with some gimmicks.
Yeah, ideas for gimmicks in the comments, please. First up for you, we've got the story that will not go away all summer. I'm predicting the merry-go-round that we're going to get between players leaving Barcelona and players going to Barcelona, but specifically, these two players may be going to Barcelona.
Couple of fannies.
Yes, a couple of fannies. You remember last week, Antoine Griezmann did not turn up for Atletico Madrid's pre-season training. He was left off their pre-season tour. Then they signed João Felix for a club record, filthy lucre of 226 million euros. And then they did this big welcome package, giving him the number 7 and doing this lovely video about all the historic number 7s to ever play for the club and leaving off Antoine Griezmann in the process. Well, someone's done the same thing because Neymar's now not turned up for PSG pre-season training, and the French club are not very happy about that. They've issued a statement following, he was meant to be there yesterday, Monday, and was back at work, as you do, and he just didn't turn up, and the club are like, what the hell, Neymar? You meant to be a PSG player. So they released this statement. On Monday, the 8th of July, Neymar da Silva Santos Jr., it's easy for you to say, was due to return to pre-season activities with the Paris Saint-Germain senior squad. Paris Saint-Germain notes that Neymar Jr. was not in attendance at the agreed time and place. This was without the club's prior authorization. The club regrets the situation and will therefore take appropriate action. Now, I don't know what that is. You imagine like a little, it's Football Manager, isn't it? You do like issue a warning. Yeah, if he does it again, fine 1 week's wage. So it could be something like that. Yeah. So yeah, it seems Neymar's not exactly overawed by the prospect of another 80-goal season playing against clubs named after brands of mustard. So looks like he wants away again. He's been linked, of course, with Man United, Man City, Real Madrid, and of course a return to Barcelona.
He's spoken quite a lot about Barcelona as well, hasn't he? The cheeky little scamp. You're under contract with PSG, Neymar. You probably shouldn't be doing that.
Why is he doing that? Is he trying to force a move away, or is he just giving up?
He's a little fanny with no banter.
Neymar, in fairness.
You almost, if he wasn't such a little fanny, you would almost feel sorry for his precious ego in a way, because he clearly wants to be the guy at a club. However, he's not going to be that at PSG with Mbappe, and he's not going to be that at Barcelona with Leo Messi either. Maybe in a couple of years when Messi starts winding down and so forth. I think he just enjoys the spotlight. He loves the headlights. He can't make his mind up where he wants to be.
I was going to say, you nearly feel sympathy for him that he left Barcelona because he was going to be a Messi's shadow, and then within like a year and a half of being
Here's
at PSG,
Kylian Mbappe.
He's Kylian Mbappe. He's probably the best player in the world. Where could he go and be the man? The Premier League?
Man United, probably. I don't know if they've got the checkbook to spend 5 zillion gillion squillions on this guy.
But I think if Pogba left me, or you might be the man if we went to Man United this season.
Scott McTominay.
Scott McTominay's the man at Man United, yeah.
So, no, Man United would make sense if he wants to be a talismanic figure, but of course, they're not in the Champions League this season, and they kind of suck, so...
There is an extra layer to this, which is going to rock you even further. Neymar's father/agent, but the fact that it's his dad makes it even funnier, has issued a rebuttal to PSG statement saying, the reason is known. The reason is known. It was scheduled a year ago with the annual schedule of Instituto Proyecto Neymar, which I think is the company he runs. We could not change, and the presentation would be on the 15th. It is that simple. No controversy. PSG was informed. So they've come out and said, we didn't know about this, and his dad's gone, yeah, he did. So this is going to go on and on and on and on and on,
isn't it? It's going to get messy. It might be a fun little soap opera. That's an interesting take from Neymar's dad. I'm interested in Neymar's ma's take next.
Yeah, more on that as we get it. You got anything?
Yeah, let's
that story.
From one slightly controversial footballing character to another, let's talk about Paul Pogba and the never-ending saga, the seemingly never-ending saga of him potentially leaving Man United. Now, those guys, they are in Australia at the moment for their little pre-season warm-up gimmick, and Man United's Twitter account published a little video yesterday of all the squad kind of just walking around Perth after a 16-hour flight, stretching the legs. Don't watch it, it's really cringeworthy. It's just a bunch of people walking around with straight faces while some wacky music plays in the background. Anyway, during this, as has been pointed out, it looks like there's a bit of a heated confrontation between Mr. Pogba and Mr. Jesse Lingard. They exchange words. At one point, Pogba actually steps up to Lingard, and he's eventually split up by Victor Lindelof. So if he is trying to engineer a move away from the company, he is certainly not making any friends on the way out.
It's a bit of a weird one, this, because it is only just it's a couple of seconds, it's in a slow motion clip. It would be very easy for them to just dismiss it as nothing. But when you watch it, Pogba's clearly quite riled about something, and he does move towards him, and then after he's separated, you can clearly see that Lingard's like, what are you doing, mate? There's something... It's such a weird inclusion for their social media to like actually go for, because somebody sat and edited that.
Yeah.
They put the slow motion on it, they put the nice music on it, they put a nice wash on it. They've done the work on it, but they just failed to notice that it's actually something bad happening.
Not a great PR move, is it? No, I was thinking the same when I was watching it. It was like, why does this exist? It doesn't, unless the only possible reason I can think is that perhaps the club, speaking about wrestling too much, perhaps the club are trying to smear Pogba a little bit, but why would you do that if you want this guy to potentially stick around? None of it really seems to make a lot of sense.
The thing is, it is easily dismissible as, just the boys having a bit of crack, but given all the stories surrounding Pogba and Man United, all the talk of unhappiness, all the talk of him wanting to move away, it's just a PR own goal.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Like, it's just such a stupid thing to include. Like, even if it is nothing, why would you include something that looks like something?
Yeah, it is. It's the equivalent of the ball going through Massimo Taibi's legs. Like, Man United have done it again. If Pogba is, if this wasn't earnest confrontation, if he is trying to leave the company, he's doing a really great job of making himself one of the least likable people in football. I've been a pretty staunch defender of the guy. I think that the way he winds up your dad is hilarious. I think he's a wonderful football player as well. But there is an element to his game that isn't, or his personality that isn't so pleasant, and stuff like this just kind of makes it hard to stick up for him, doesn't it?
I'd love Paul Pogba. I would hate to support the club he plays for or have to manage him. I will say that much. I can't see him struggling to get, if he wants to move, I can't see him struggling to get a move because he's
brilliant.
Paul Pogba. He's an excellent player. Even the brand that he attracts is worth it alone, but it's just a bizarre one. Like, unless the club, as you say, unless the club are deliberately trying to make it look like he's the problem, expecting him to leave and not wanting, like, well, I mean, what are they going to do? If he goes, the fans are going to be like, oh, I am disappointed that our best player is left, but did you see that quick little clip of him on the Australia tour where it looked like he was being a bit of a dick? Yeah, wipe my hands of that one. Anyway, speaking of transfers, which is probably going to be 90% of all the stories we end up doing for the next 2 months, remember me saying that I think Leicester could do bits this year? All right, they give Rodgers a bit of money, maybe they have a good transfer window, maybe there could be a bit of a dark horse to sort of get near the top of the league. They just broke their record transfer fee for the second time in a week. You may recall them signing Jose Perez last week for 30 million. Amazing how it takes weeks and weeks to buy a player when you're Newcastle, but also 3 days to sell them. Yeah, anyway, I'm not going to get bogged down by that. They broke the record transfer, bringing Perez to the club, Newcastle's top scorer, one of the league's probably not one of the most exciting players from a neutral perspective, but certainly like an exciting young player, an improvement on what they had at that end of the pitch.
Industrious.
And they've gone and done it again. They've gone and bought Yuri Tielemans, who I'm never 100% sure on the pronunciation. Tielemans?
I heard about 7 different pronunciations on
you know exactly who I
season,
mean. They've
gone
and bought him.
Guy.
They've gone and bought him, the Belgian international, 22 years old, for 40 million a mere week after they've signed Perez. Now, you may remember he was on loan there for the second half of last season and looked like an incredible pickup on loan.
Very effective.
One of Monaco's most exciting players, and they've got him on loan. He came in, he's very effective. I think I read somewhere after Vardy, he had the most goal involvement of any player from when he signed. I think it was something like 4 goals, 3 assists, or 3 goals, 4 assists, something like that. Hit the ground running, and the club were eager to make that signing permanent, and they've done it again in the blink of an eye. 40 million they've got him for adding to that squad, which is a real...
Seems like a really good deal.
I think they're 1 or 2 players away from really having a bit of a shot this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's an exciting transfer for Leicester City. I mean, the guy was obviously on loan last season, which maybe gave them a little advantage. He knows the club, he knows how it works, they can guarantee first-team football, but he was linked with clubs like Man United and Tottenham Hotspur. So
deservedly so.
So good on Leicester for securing this guy. I remember, of course, back in the days, an old Football Manager legend is Tielemans. Back when he was like 15, 16 on the books at Anderlecht, you could snap him up and he'd immediately turn into one of the best players in the entire game. But it's interesting that they'd go from the legend Callum McGregor, who they targeted for 17 million, turned down, and they went to kind of just a downgrade in Tielemans.
He is buzzing though. Would you like to hear his lovely little quotes on the matter? Of course. It is such a great feeling to sign for this football club. Ever since I arrived on loan last season, all the players, the staff and the fans have been fantastic with me, so I'm thrilled to be able to become a part of Leicester City. I believe that we have the talent in our squad to achieve something special, and for any player, that's an exciting thing to be a part of. I really can't wait to get started again with the club and do everything I can to help my teammates. I made up for him, and I made up for Leicester fans, because it must be weird having won the league and then going like that for a bit. So yeah, them actually spending a bit of money, getting a manager in who's clearly going to do something, and then getting exciting players, exciting young developing players in is good. I can't imagine how that must feel.
He's a player who really fits the Rodgers mould as well. And after years of just kind of settling into this mid-level grind, it'll be nice to see them try and push forward.
As the What Culture expert on the great shame Scottish football, what do you make of Rodgers?
Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah, you say he's an atypical Rodgers player. What does that mean?
Oh, I mean, he's a typical Rodgers player. He fits the mould. Rodgers plays this attacking, more forward-thinking football, not the most defensively sound systems in the world. We saw it back at Liverpool and stuff. He was far too good for the SPFL, far too good. And the Scottish Premier League is the greatest league in the world. But, if we're talking objective standards here, he essentially helped them to the treble, 3 trophies for 3 years. Neil Lennon got them over the line, but only a fool would say Neil Lennon's a better manager than Brendan Rodgers.
Fool.
I believe he will be a fine appointment. I believe Leicester City is probably about his level as a manager, and I think that watching guys like T. Elements flourish under him will be very exciting. Shall we move on?
What a lovely story.
And I'm an Aberdeen fan, and I'm saying that for goodness sake. Let's move on. Another protracted transfer saga for like the past year or so. Marco Arnautovic, Stoke's most tempestuous player, very talented guy, big personality, ruffles a lot of feathers. Finally got. Did I say Stoke? I meant West Ham.
He was at Stoke.
He was at Stoke, but then
he was Stoke. One of Stoke's most. What you said was correct.
Yeah,
it was
eventually.
just in the past.
Yeah, eventually we got there. He's gone. He's gone to China. Shanghai SIPG, 23 million. He's finally got his move. And West Ham released a rather frosty statement on the matter. I'm just going to read that to you.
It was weird, wasn't it?
2 sentences. West Ham United can confirm Marco Arnautovic has joined Chinese Super League champion Shanghai SIPG for an undisclosed fee. The 30-year-old Austrian departs after 2 seasons at London Stadium, during which he scored 22 goals in 65 appearances in claret and blue.
No best wishes. No, we wish him all the best. Yeah. No future endeavours, anything like that. Just facts. He's a Wikipedia entry. He left. Let's all move on.
Here's the first line of a Wikipedia entry as well. Really cold stuff. Hardly surprising given the way he kind of fannied on last season, but he was a very important player for that side. Very talented guy, if a little bit inconsistent. I believe he's one of only 4 or 5 players in West Ham history to score double Premier League figure goals in 2 consecutive seasons.
That's a good stat.
That is a good little stat.
That's a good stat.
Answers on the postcard for the other ones. Julian Dix, obviously. But no, I think we saw this coming. He's obviously almost certainly getting a nice little payday over there in the Chinese Super League. So,
should we all give up on the Premier League and watch the Chinese Super League this year? Because the amount of banter players is getting over and the banter signings, it could be way more interesting than the Prem.
Yeah, I mean, it might be. I mean, if we're going to all abandon one league and watch another, I'd suggest the Scottish Premier League because it's the banter league of the universe. But at the same time, maybe it might be fun. I don't know.
I just like the idea that there's going to be this, sort of similarly having a lot of other leagues around the world that have just come into a bit of money. You have these really good high reputation players playing with teammates who are just so beneath their level that literally anything can happen at any given moment.
Yeah, absolutely. It might be big banter. I've never actually watched a Chinese league game.
I have watched one, but I'm going to watch loads this year because I just support Rafael Benitez. Anyway, yes, now normally during these news videos, what we do at this stage is we would throw to our favourite part of the show. What does that say? Oh, interact with the audience. That's always death. And we would ask for your Twitter questions because this is the first one. We didn't have time to ask for your Twitter questions, so we'll be doing that going forward. So any questions you would like, myself, Andy, Wilborn, Nicholas, Michael, Benjamin, Simon, whoever's doing the news on a day-to-day basis, to answer, get those in to the account at WhatCulture Football or WhatCulture FC. It'll be along the screen right now. Send us your Twitter questions for that and we will answer them during the news. So instead, I mean, the only question I can really ask you is, do you want to support the Chinese Super League? But do you want to make a case for supporting the SPFL instead of the Chinese League instead? Scott
Brown plays in the SPFL. There you go.
There you go. That should answer any question you could possibly have, as well as the question of, are we doing this every day? Yes. Yes, we are doing this every day. The lists will be back, the editorials will be back, the features will be back. We finally have a bit more organisation and the staff required to actually pull together a new channel this season, and thus we will be. So get yourselves excited for that. Are you excited, Ed?
I'm very excited.
I'm excited for this inevitably falling down, by the way, because that's just propped up at the back of the room.
It's going to hit me on my big bald head.
You might have to Yeah, we'll have to put that somewhere a bit more safe. But yeah, any gimmicks? We need a hashtag for the football news.
We need hashtags, we need gimmicks, we need catchphrases, we need goofy stuff all over the place. That's what you should.
If you follow us on the wrestling channel, we have hashtag this is the news for the morning news and hashtag good afternoons for the afternoon news. So if you can think of a football news hashtag, do get that in the comments below and you'll be appropriately credited, which is possibly not at all. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us on the news today. This has been Andy Murray, although we didn't say that at the start. Where can they get you on Twitter, Andy?
At Andy H. Murray.
The H stands for?
Harry Cool.
Oh, that's going to be a good running joke. And of course, you can get me at Adam Cleary, it's CLERY, and we are WhatCulture FC on Twitter, I think. But in the meantime, though, thank you so much for watching. This has, of course, been the football news, and we will see you here tomorrow, bright and early.
I've been waving too long.
Bye. Goal!